Hi, today we're talking about CCM6, Unit 5, Lesson 3, changing decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals. We're going to concentrate on the changing decimals to fractions first. So some steps are determine the place value of the last number in the decimal. This becomes your denominator. Then make the decimal number the numerator. Then reduce. So a tip would be to read your decimal out loud as you write it. For example, we've got this number here. The way you read that number is 625 thousandths. So 1,000 is your denominator, 625 is your numerator. You're going to reduce that, and the first number that comes to mind is 25. 25 goes into 625, and 25 goes into 1,000. So I divide, and I get 25 over 40. Now, both of those numbers are also divisible by another number, so I need to reduce again. So if you reduce once, that's great, but check your answer to see if you need to reduce a second time. In this case, I do. I have to divide both my numerator and denominator by 5. My final answer is 5/8. So let's do some examples. This number, the way you read it, is 12 thousandths because the 2 is in the thousandths place. So we just write that 12 over 1,000. And then I have to think to myself, what number goes both into 12 and 1,000? They're both even, so I know 2 goes into both the numerator and the denominator. But maybe there's something bigger that I can use. I know 4 goes into 12 and 4 goes into 1,000, so that's what I'll use. Divide the numerator and the denominator by 4, and you get 3 over 250. And that's your final answer. This next number is a number greater than 1, so it's read 1 and 45 hundredths. So 1 is my whole number, and I've got 45 over 100. Now I need to reduce the 45 hundredths. I know that 5 goes into both 45 and 100. Now don't forget about your whole number. You're going to also bring that over here as you reduce. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 100 divided by 5 is 20. And you're all set. Why don't you pause the video here and you try this one out yourself on your own paper. When you're done, push play, and then you'll see the answer on the screen. Did you get 7 3/5? Hope so. We've got 2 more examples for you. Why don't you try these on your paper? Just push pause on your video. Try these. When you're finished, push play, and the answers will be up here on the board. Did you get these 2 answers? I hope so. Okay, we're moving on, and we're going to talk about now changing fractions to decimals. How do we do that? We're going to divide the numerator by the denominator using long division. A tip would be to read your fraction out loud as you set it up in your long division. For example, we have this fraction here, 5/8, but we can also read it 5 divided by 8. So as I'm reading it, I'm writing out my long division. 5 on the inside, my long division bar, then 8. Then once I've got it set up, I can go through the motions of the long division to get my final answer. We'll go through a couple of problems and you'll see how I did this one on the board. A very important concept would be to change all mixed numbers to improper fractions first. This can be helpful, but I'll show you another way where maybe you don't have to always do that. Okay, let's try a couple. All right, we've got 3 divided by 8. So I'm going to write it using long division. Once I've got it written down, I'm going to ask myself a series of questions. First, can 8 go into 3? No, it cannot. 8 cannot go into 3 evenly. So I put a 0 above the 3, add a decimal, bring it up, then add a 0 here. Can 8 go into 30? Yes, it can. 8 can go into 30 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. So when you subtract, you get 6. Add another 0, bring it down. Can 8 go into 60? Yes, it can. 8 can go into 60 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. I'm going to subtract, and I get 4 left over. Add one more 0. 8 goes into 40 exactly 5 times. So you can write this down, finish it out, and 375 thousandths is your answer. This is the decimal equivalent of that fraction. Let's try one with a whole number. So I told you before, why don't you go ahead and change this improper fraction, this mixed number, to an improper fraction. So how you do that is you multiply. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. So the improper fraction of this mixed number would be 11/6. So I'm going to do 11 divided by 6. And go through and ask yourself these questions. Can 6 go into 11? Yes, it can. 6 goes into 11 once. You're going to put the 1 over the 1 that's in the ones digit over the, with the 11, so that that signifies 6 is going into 11 once. Don't put it over the 1 in the tens place, because that's signifying 6 goes into 1 one time. 6 cannot go into 1 evenly, but 6 can go into 11, so make sure you line your problem up correctly. So 1 times 6 is 6. 11 minus 6 is 5. Now we're going to put our decimal here because we've got no more digits to go. So add a decimal, bring it up, add a 0, and bring it down. 6 goes into 50 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Subtract, and you're left with 2. Add a 0, bring it down. 6 goes into 20 3 times. And when you're multiplying 6 times 3, you get 18. So 20 take away 18 is 2. So I would add another 0 and bring it down, but look, that gives me 20, the same number I had in the previous step. So I'm getting the impression that what I'm getting ready to do is going to start repeating, and it will. So the 3 is going to be the repeating digit in this case. So I'm going to put a bar over the 3, but only the 3 repeats, not the 8 and the 3, not the 1, 8 and the 3, only the 3. So that's what I put the bar over. So 1 5/6 is equal to 1.83 with the 3 repeating. Why don't you try number 3, 7/20, and pause the video. You try it on your paper, and then hopefully when you are done, you can push play and you'll have the same answer as I do. Did you get 3/500ths? Hope so. And we've got 2 more examples. Again, why don't you try to do these on your paper, hit pause on the video, and then when you're done, hit play and check your work. Okay, so here are my two answers. For number 4, I got 8/10. And then for number 5, I did something a little bit differently. Instead of changing this number to an improper fraction, I went ahead and I took my whole number and I brought it down here, because if it's a whole number in my fraction, it's going to be the whole number of my decimal as well. And then I actually went through and simplified 30/100ths, and I made it 3/10. So I simplified, and then I did my long division, and I found out that it's literally 3/10, 2.3, 2 and 3/10, 2.3. That's the decimal equivalent to this fraction. Well, I hope you learned something today.